All right. So observation. One point that I've seen you make is that people observe a very small part of the world and then they mentally fill in the rest, right? Talk about like either what you mean or why that is. Like explain why I am, filling in the backgrounds of things necessarily.
We have the illusion that we see more than we do, but really there's a funnel into the skull bone that is our brain. And that funnel is the senses. And it's all this data that's collected from our environment. And a poetic way, the Thoreau quote is not what you look at that matters, it's what you see. The difference between look and see is huge because you're collecting information that now you're editing to say, is this relevant? Is it not relevant? Is it relevant? And a lot of that happens automatically. That editing process is really interesting because it comes from your background of experiences of what you think is important. So much of our observation can be limited by our curiosity, how we ask questions about our environment. What are the things that pique your curiosity? If we think we have the answers, it tends to cut down on that curiosity so that we tend to just remain on autopilot and we observe the same things over and over again. And that can actually lead to psychological blindness.
So is it enough to know that that is a potential weakness or, it is a way of combating that, kind of internal limitation? Or are there other things, there's ways to become more observant? There's ways to understand the right things to focus on, right? I've been learning to play the guitar lately, right? And I'm constantly moving between the strings that I'm strumming and the position of my fingers and the chords, right? And as I watch other guitar players, they always have their eyes in the right place, right? They're already looking at the thing they need to be looking at before they make the adjustment, right? So in this instance, I'm asking you, like, is there a way to know where to place your eyes? And I mean that metaphorically, so that you can be more observant.
Yeah. Moving from metaphor to balance between metaphor and relevance. I don't know if this makes it more clear, but if you think of how we collect information, that's what observation really is, right? It really keys on two things: our senses and our attention. And our attention sometimes drives our senses, what we turn to look at. So to the point of what you just said with the guitar, it starts to become very important of where you're going to dedicate your resources. And it's important to know that attention is a limited resource. So then you now have an attention economy, which means if I have $100 mental dollars, where am I spending them? Now, the thing that you look for is not just so much where you look for, but also when. For example, when you think of critical thinking, we ask people if we just have more critical thinking in society, it's not, that's an attention drained resource that requires our attention. So we really need to question when and where. So it becomes the economical use of our attention can increase our observation. Our senses are limited. We can subsidize them with technology to be able to rewind and watch things again, which is functionally what we do. But really the ability to know when do we need to actively question the things that we thought we knew. Since things are changing so fast and truth often expires, it's important for us to be able to question the things that we thought we knew.
Yeah. And your mind, I mean, just the follow up on that is that your mind gets into a groove where it thinks, I don't need to be questioning, right? This is a kind of a mental safe space, but sometimes it turns out it's not, right? So
yeah. Okay. It's easy for us to go on autopilot. We see something that looks like this. Oh, that's just like this. An easier question to ask yourself maybe specifically is, why is this not like what I think it is? And that's a backwards way to look at it. It's like, and that's really, if you want to use that for somebody deceiving you or magic, sure, it looks like this. Why is it not? But now it becomes, when are you going to dedicate that kind of focus to it?
Got it.